This season we've covered high damage weapons, aggressive SMGs, versatile assault rifles, and now it's time to talk about the aggressive assault rifles. And so first of all, why would you even use them? Well, the main meta, the aggressive SMGs, VMP and USS-9, they are great in small maps and in close to somewhat mid-range combat. Meanwhile, versatile assault rifles, in contrast to the aggressive ones, we have usually a big mag, pretty good damage and fire rate combination, and decent range, as well as we are okay in the mid-range, but we are not as good in closer ranges. And usually we don't have such a fast fire rate, and so their kind of versatility comes from them still being pretty good in terms of mobility, just we are not as fast. And so aggressive ARs, we fill a niche between the SMGs and versatile assault rifles. And in terms of map, basically we are good in the same maps where aggressive SMGs are good, except you do get better range with them. So in maps like Nuketown or Shoot House or even Summit. And when we stand off, I really like using aggressive assault rifles there. And in bigger maps you can use them as well, but like not as conveniently, where I would just use versatile assault rifles or even something slower like the Odin. But basically the extra range while still having pretty good mobility, fire rate, everything, it is a good combination to have in your loadouts. Now, I would not suggest to solely rely on them, but like you see that your versatile assault rifle is not fast enough, you can switch to them. You see that your SMG lacks range, you switch to them. So they are really good in kind of like a situational use. Now, despite big YouTubers are still talking about BP50 as being a part of the meta, I stopped featuring it in my best loadouts video for quite a few seasons now. Simply because after the nerf and it was replaced by the USS-9 as the top meta gun, it was just no longer as good in terms of damage because the damage multipliers were nerfed. And now the fire rate that it has does not compensate for the slower reload time and overall slowness, because it is still comparatively slow like in terms of movement, ADS time. Now the advantage of it is that it is essentially like a baby MG42, as it has less bullets but still a fast fire rate and just better mobility still compared to the MG42 of course. But the slowness and no longer as impactful damage kind of makes it good as a spray and pray. And so that gun would be, such strategy would be the best if you are playing a bit more passive. And well, I think that it should still be like a aggressive assault rifle. And it is kind of usable, but I personally do not use it, and I think that especially next season we are getting the RAM 7, which will simply replace it as the best gun. And USS-9 is getting enough as well, so the top of the meta should be RAM 7, if I am calculating things correctly. Meanwhile, BP50, well, the other weapons that we are going to cover, I think some of them, or even most of them, would be better suggestions, and just better to use instead of it. While BP50 is the first fastest firing assault rifle, FFAR comes second in terms of the fire rate, and it is also slowish in terms of mobility. I only prefer it with the Skullcap pack for better strafing, but it has way faster reload time. Like BP50 reload takes ages, this one is just quick. It also has smoother ADS accuracy, and like the aim assist thingy is just, it feels way better. And the range is also better. Now the con would be that the max size is 44 bullets, or if you want to make the gun even faster it would be 38. But I think that 44 is kind of okay in the current meta setting. And so you do have better accuracy, slightly better movement, better reload time. The fire rate is not as quick, but after the damage nerf I don't really think that BP50 is as much of a competition as it used to be. So I would say that you can use the FFAR if you want, it is not a bad option. Although I would not really say that either of them are like very serious meta contenders, but it is a bit of a step higher. Third fastest firing assault rifle M13, it has way smoother, better mobility compared to the previous two, and my build it has pretty laser accuracy for up close, mid and even long ranges. You will see I will be getting some really nice range shots. And the only con, which is a pretty huge con, is the 40 rounds mag. So you can take down 2 enemies and you have to reload, and ideally you want to reload any chance you get, which makes it a bit more requiring of, well, not skill but focus, and you have to be less tired. And these thingies, alongside the fire rate being the third fastest, kind of make it good, but in niche situations when you absolutely want to get those skills from various ranges. But for a longer period of rank grinding, I would say that FFAR would be just more reliable because it is more stable. But the smoothness, it really fits the theme of an aggressive assault rifle. So I kind of want to put it above the previous two, but at the same time I want to note that it does have the mentioned flaw of the mag size, and I did try the big mag, but then it just feels slowish, sluggish, and I don't think that it is worth it. Like, if it had the fastest fire rate, then the big mag would be really good, but with this you really should just use the 40 rounds build. And well, if you want to use it you can, but well, I would go for easier to control weapons for rank grinds, and well, I could keep it as an extra, but I don't have enough loadout space personally. Now hear me out. AK-117, it used to be the fastest firing assault rifle up until the release of M13 and later the FFAR and later the BP-50. But in terms of nerfs, it did not really get any notable nerfs through the years. It was simply just kind of pushed out by them. But it has good mobility, pretty decent reload time, very nice hipfire because it does not have any like hipfire deductions that some of the attachments of the other weapons we have. So the hipfire is very smooth, the range as you can see is also good, and the time to kill, well, it does not have such a fast fire rate, but it is still reasonable. And all that make the gun pretty viable to use in ranked for an aggressive assault rifle. Now technically I would not say that any of them are like top meta choice, because in small maps the SMGs they would just be better. But again, in situations where you need more range but still want to be aggressive, they all fit. And so, why not AK-117? Especially now that the free Mythic is available, and most players who grind ranked long enough already have it ages ago. So if you don't have any Mythics, use AK-117. But like, not always, but for the particular purpose of the aggressive assault rifle. But there is really no reason not to use it. And I personally have a maxed out Grim Ending Mythic variant, which has a better iron sight compared to the free Mythic, of course. So I would use this one instead. And I think that it is a really nice choice. Like, I cannot find arguments why you should be using FFAR or BP or M13. And the fire rate, since it only has 40 bullets, the firing rate not being as fast as M13 is not even a con. Like, you can even consider it as a plus. So it is a good choice, and it is only beaten by the number 1 aggressive assault rifle, the Peacekeeper. Now listen, so throughout the seasons, like earlier seasons, it received a few buffs to the recoil, and the recoil earlier it was very difficult for the Peacekeeper to control, it was like its major downside, but now it is super smooth. Also the iron sight of the Mythic variant has been reworked and is good now. I did not use Peacekeeper much before because I was honestly pretty upset about the iron sight, as I was not able to buy it when it was first returned, and then I spent a year worrying what would happen if it is returned when I don't have any money, like for instance I bought some other draw, and I don't have unlimited funds. If I buy a draw it means I cannot buy something else. And so during that year, every season until reduxes were announced, I was just worried. And when I finally got it in 1 July, and I played with it, and I noticed that the iron sight is just bad. And after all this wait, it made me pretty reasonably, I would say, just displeased. And so I would make some videos when a return would happen, or like a buff, but that would be it. And after the iron sight rework, I started using it a lot more, and noticed that it is actually great. It has very good reload time, good ADS, solid time to kill, fire rate is also decent, and again, the reload time is super fast. Hipfire is also good. And the range is good, everything is good. Now, of course, all of these assault rifles we do struggle against the USS-9 at the moment, But even then it is kind of manageable if it is not a head-on one-on-one fight, but like you can start shooting bullets at the enemy fast. And next season USS9 is getting enough. So even now Peacekeeper is good, but then I would not be surprised if we are going to see it in the meta list. And AK-117, like I said, is solid too. And that would be my conclusion of the aggressive assault rifles. Just once more a reminder, they are not good like in any map or any situation. They have to be used when you need to be aggressive, but also need to have more range. And I think that this was a pretty nice video actually, so I hope you liked it too.